A dying plant in a forgotten corner is not a sign of a bad gardener. It is a sign of a broken system engineered to keep you buying. Somewhere in your home right now sits $5 worth of garbage that could have kept every plant you've ever killed alive for weeks without you lifting a finger. And the fact that nobody told you this before you spent money on a fancy watering timer is not an accident, it is the business model. Picture the exact moment you've lived 100 times, walking back into your kitchen after a work trip, seeing that one plant on the windowsill, leaves curled, soil cracked like desert clay, and that specific gut-drop feeling of guilt mixed with irritation, because you told yourself this time would be different. You set a reminder, you promised. And somehow, life happened, meetings ran long, weekends got busy, and the plant paid the price for your exhaustion. This isn't a personal failure, it's a design flaw baked into how modern gardening advice is sold to you, built entirely around the assumption that you have unlimited time, unlimited memory, and unlimited willpower to hand water something every single day like it's a full-time unpaid job. The lawn and garden industry does not want you to know that consistent watering is not actually about discipline. It is about physics. Plain, boring, unpatentable physics. The same physics your grandmother's generation understood instinctively before an entire industry rose up to sell that knowledge back to you, wrapped in plastic and marked up by 1,000%. Today we are handing you the impossible outcome that industry prays you never discover. A garden that waters itself for days, sometimes weeks, using nothing more than trash already sitting in your recycling bin. The corporate enemy here has a name you'd recognize instantly if we said it, but more importantly, it has a strategy you need to understand, because self-watering planters, smart irrigation systems, and drip timer kits are not innovations, they are repackaged folk knowledge, dressed up in sleek plastic and sold at an $80 to $150 markup for a mechanism that costs the manufacturer pennies to produce. Every time you buy one of those systems, you are not paying for technology. You are paying for permission to access information that was never supposed to be locked away in the first place. Information about how water moves through soil, fabric, and root systems using nothing but basic capillary action, the exact same principle plants have used to pull moisture up from roots to leaves since before humans existed. This is where the story gets interesting, because the people who figured out how to weaponize that principle for garden survival were not scientists in white coats working for some agricultural conglomerate. They were desperate, resourceful households during economic collapse, families running so-called victory gardens through hardship decades ago, who could not afford to lose a single vegetable to neglect or drought, and who engineered self-watering systems out of whatever scraps they had, because failure meant an empty table, not an inconvenience. That knowledge worked. It spread quietly through homesteaders and off-grid communities for generations, refined and passed down not through corporate patents but through necessity, until eventually, decades later, a marketing team somewhere realized this free, trash-built technique could be rebranded, plastic molded, and sold back to a public that had completely forgotten where it came from. You are about to learn the original version. The one that costs $5 instead of $80, the one built from garbage instead of injection-molded plastic. And once you understand exactly why it works at the molecular level, you will never look at a plastic water bottle the same way again. Let's talk about the villain a little more clearly, because vague anger doesn't change behavior, but specific understanding does. The self-watering planter industry, worth hundreds of millions of dollars globally, is built on a simple psychological trick, convincing you that keeping a plant alive requires a specialized product rather than specialized knowledge. Walk into any garden center and you'll find shelves of glossy plastic pots advertising revolutionary reservoir technology, priced anywhere from $30 to over $100, when the actual mechanism inside most of them is nothing more than a water chamber and a wick, a design so simple a child could replicate it with items destined for a landfill. That markup isn't paying for innovation, it's paying for the illusion of innovation, because the moment people realize they can build the exact same function from trash, the entire premium pricing structure collapses. This is precisely why that knowledge stayed buried in homesteading forums and Depression-era recipe boxes instead of mainstream gardening media for so long. Because mainstream gardening media is largely funded by the very companies selling the expensive version. Now picture a household during the 1930s and 40s, growing food not as a hobby, but as survival. Tending victory gardens while men were away at war, and grocery supply chains were unreliable at best. These families did not have the luxury of losing crops to forgetfulness or drought, so out of pure necessity, they engineered irrigation systems from broken bottles, worn-out fabric strips, and buried clay pots, understanding intuitively what modern chemistry would later confirm mathematically, that water moves upward against gravity through narrow spaces due to surface tension and adhesion, a phenomenon called capillary action. They needed their families fed, and when the harvest came in strong season after season, that was proof enough. This knowledge got passed from neighbor to neighbor, generation to generation, refined quietly by off-grid homesteaders decades later, who had every incentive to perfect free, low-cost survival techniques rather than pay for consumer products they often couldn't access or afford. And then, inevitably, someone in a corporate product development meeting looked at these free, trash-built systems, stripped away the improvisation, molded the same basic function into clean plastic, slapped a premium label on it, and sold it back to a public that had long since forgotten the original, uncredited genius behind the concept. This is the moment you should feel that righteous shift, that click of recognition, because you are not being taught a gardening hack today. You are being handed back stolen knowledge, dressed up and resold to your own generation, as if it never existed before a company put a barcode on it. That anger is useful. It is exactly the fuel you need to actually build this system today, instead of scrolling past another ad for an $80 smart planter. So let's build it, starting with the simplest, most beginner-friendly version anyone can assemble in under 10 minutes using items you were probably about to throw away anyway. Take an empty plastic bottle, any standard water or soda bottle works, and remove the cap completely, setting it aside. Using a small nail, a drill bit, or even scissors carefully, puncture 2 to 4 small holes near the bottle's cap end, the narrow neck section, spaced evenly around the circumference. These holes are not decorative. They are precisely engineered exit points controlling exactly how fast water escapes into your soil, and getting this step right is the difference between a system that drips perfectly for days and one that either floods your plant or barely releases anything at all. Once your holes are placed, flip the bottle upside down, cap end facing downward, and bury that narrow neck section 3 to 4 inches into the soil directly beside your plant's root zone, leaving the wide bottom portion exposed above ground so you can refill it easily. Fill the bottle completely with water and watch what happens over the next several hours, because this is where basic physics quietly takes over the job you used to do manually every single day. Gravity pulls water downward toward those small holes, but soil density and moisture saturation around the buried neck create just enough resistance to slow that release into a controlled, steady drip, rather than an instant flood, meaning your plant receives consistent moisture over days, instead of one overwhelming soak followed by days of drought. This is your beginner layer, and for most potted plants and small garden beds, this alone can extend watering intervals from daily to every 4 or 5 days depending on climate and soil type. Now let's stack the master level version, because true self-sufficiency means building redundancy into the system. Take a strip of cotton fabric. An old t-shirt works perfectly. Cut into a strip roughly 1 inch wide and long enough to reach from a water reservoir into your soil. Submerge one end of that strip fully into a container of water positioned slightly above your plant's soil level. A repurposed jar or bucket works fine, and bury the opposite end directly into the root zone a few inches deep. This is a wick system, and it operates on the exact same capillary action principle that pulls sap upward through a tree trunk against gravity itself. Water molecules clinging to the fabric fibers and to each other tightly enough to travel steadily upward and sideways through the material, moving from an area of high moisture concentration toward an area of lower moisture concentration in your dry soil, a natural equilibrium-seeking process that requires zero electricity, zero timers, and zero monthly subscriptions. Combine both systems together, the buried bottle for deep, slow-release hydration, and the wick for surface-level moisture consistency, and you've built something functionally comparable to that $80 smart planter, using roughly $5 of material you already had lying around your house. For elevated results, position your water reservoir slightly higher than your soil line whenever possible, since gravitational pull combined with capillary pull working in the same direction increases flow efficiency. A small adjustment separating people who see mediocre results from people whose gardens thrive for weeks unattended. Now proof, because you should never simply trust a voice in a video, you should verify this with your own eyes. Set up this system on one plant while maintaining your normal manual watering on an identical plant nearby. Same species, same pot size, same sunlight exposure, and simply track soil moisture using nothing more than your finger inserted 2 inches deep every single day for 2 full weeks. Document how many days pass before the self-watered plant's soil actually needs a refill compared to how often you're manually watering the control plant, and photograph both plants side by side every few days to visually compare leaf firmness, color saturation, and overall vigor. Most people running this exact comparison discover their self-watering setup keeps soil consistently moist for 5 to 14 days, depending on pot size and climate, while manually watered plants show moisture fluctuation and stress signs far more frequently. This is measurable, repeatable, and impossible for any skeptic to argue against once they see it documented in their own home. And here is the deeper truth sitting underneath all of this. The same truth we keep circling back to on this channel, because it matters more than any single hack ever could. Every generation gets convinced that survival, comfort, and abundance require purchasing something, when in reality most of what we call innovation today is simply forgotten common knowledge, repackaged and resold to people who were never taught where it originally came from. Your ancestors did not need a smart device to keep a garden alive during hardship. They needed observation, patience, and materials most people now throw directly into the trash without a second thought. Every time you choose to build instead of buy, you reclaim a small piece of the self-reliance that industries spend billions of dollars trying to convince you that you don't have. So gather your bottles, cut your fabric strips, build this system today, and tell us honestly in the comments how many days your plant survived without a single manual watering, because the next forgotten survival method we're uncovering goes back even further than this one, buried in ancient irrigation systems entire lost civilizations depended on to grow food in deserts. And if you don't want that knowledge buried again, subscribe now before the algorithm decides you never needed to know it at all.